So this is one of my favorite videos to illustrate the importance of choice. We're getting to a stage in dog training and behavior where we're a little more conscious about giving animals choice. We have the whole fear-free movement in the veterinary industry. We're really trying to give animals a little bit more autonomy, and this is something I battle constantly. I told you about my Doberman who doesn't love being petted by people, and it's kind of my job to keep her safe. So watch this little spaniel and you will see what happens when the girl in the tank top is trying to get her to come up and get a hug. And watch the difference when she tries to pull the dog in versus when she gives the dog some choice. Calm down.
He's like, you're not moving me. I'm staying right here.
Pay no attention to what her mom's saying.
She's upset because Leia was petting Winnie and not her. So now she's upset. She's like, don't touch me. I'm mad at you.
I love you.
See all the interpretations people make. Look at that freeze, hard eye, lip
Can
lick.
I have a hug? Can I
Watch
have
when
a
she
hug?
takes her hand away.
Can I have a hug? Oh!
Aw. She ran over and gave Leia have a hug.
You good? Do I get a kiss? Oh,
Oh, now she made up. She says, I love you, Leia.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was not an affection.
You happy
kiss.
now? You happy now? Yes, you are.
She has the choice to leave,
think she's
and
done.
she does. So that little kiss is what they call a kiss to dismiss. That you'll see dogs do that with kids all the time, like go away. That's not an affectionate kiss. So there's lots of misinterpretations there. But what I want you to notice is what happened when she gave the dog choice as opposed to when she was trying to force the dog. And I think that's where a lot of bites happen, is when people are trying to force dogs to do things that they don't want to do. So go and buy Deb Jones's book on husbandry without having to pin dogs down. I remember that's how we used to do nails. We just pin the dogs down and get it done. And now we can teach them to offer their paws, and to, if they can teach elephants and lions and tigers and bears to do husbandry in the zoo, we can do this with dogs as well. So I'm delighted to see that. So here's somebody doing an assessment. Don't get upset with him. He's just doing his job. This is back in the days when we did formal behavior assessments in a shelter. But what I want you to watch is the dog's body language. And a lot of this is because he's got her by the collar. She has no choice. She can't get away. And she's giving him some pretty clear signals. See those ears pop straight back, the tail tucked, lip lick, whale eye, ears back, and she's looking, well, she's looking away from him, but looking at, look at this lean away at the end of it. So everything about this dog is saying, please stop. And she's polite. She's not turning up the volume. She's not escalating any aggression, but everything about her body language is clearly saying, I'm not comfortable with this. So we can teach our clients this. We really don't have to pet all the dogs. I have 3 dogs at home. I have lots of clients with dogs. I have shelters full of dogs I can visit anytime. I feel no need to go up and put my hands on anybody else's dog, unless they're like that boxer in the first video who's just begging you to touch them. And even so, I will, we need to teach people to stop patting dogs on the head. Try a little scratch on the chest, try a little scratch under the collar. Most animals prefer scratching to patting. And do it for 2 or 3 seconds and then withdraw your hand and see if this goes for cats and horses and all kinds of animals as well as dogs. See if they try to interact again. See if they come in and flip your hand and say, please more, or if they shake off and say, thank you, that was enough. We really need to give animals choice, and they will like you better if you give them the choice. So you'll actually get more attention from animals if you're a little less pushy, if you can turn some of that social pressure down. So tell me what I'm doing wrong here. I tormented my poor little boarding dog, Solange, for your benefit.
What's wrong, what?
Does anything about this dog say, I would like you to pet me?
No one be in the house.
The wide eyes, the tucked tail, the ears back. Here's another thing we need to stop doing. Shooting a hand out is not necessarily a good way to make friends. Invite the dog in. We mostly get bitten on the hand. The lick. So that was way too much petting. I did at least go in under her chin. I couldn't bring myself to pat her on top of the head. But this is a dog who's quite nervous inside. She needs to be inside at night because we have coyotes. And she just curls up in a little ball and goes to her happy place. And if I bother her in the morning, that's what I get. But when she goes outside, she is happy again. So how about this guy? Is he enjoying the attention? So he has the choice to move away. I did a little lip lick when he got hugged. Again, most dogs don't love sort of being squeezed, and this is my dog, so he's not used to being squeezed, but he does really like people, all people, and he chose to put himself there. He came right over and put himself up on the kid's knees. So here's what can happen when you shoot a magic hand out at a dog.
Do you want go-go, Mary? Oh, you want to sit down? It's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
The person with the camera really wants the dog to interact. He's looking at another dog.
Hi.
Here's my hand.
Hi.
Pay attention.
Oh. Oh.
And he's polite, you know, it's a little snap. I don't think he got him. But we're so insistent about shooting our hands into dogs' faces. It can be dangerous. So here's the ladder of aggression. You can download this online. It's kind of a useful rubric. We start at the bottom with the blinks and yawns and head turns, all of our displacement signals, and we move it all the way up to growl, snap, bite. But one thing I'd like you to keep in mind, this is a useful rubric, but dogs don't actually read this, and many dogs have had the signals, the warning signals, punished out of them. They've been gotten after every time they've growled. And personally, I like a dog who growls. I thank a dog for growling at me because they didn't just go straight to bite. We need to not punish those. But be aware that dogs don't read this and they can skip rungs. So here's one. And I've watched this video a lot of times and I cannot figure out what makes the dog snap at actually she bites the guy on the hand and there's a really brief freeze. But the thing that causes the bite, again, is the hand shooting into her face.
Where my dog's at? Oh, there she is. Ow, 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 ow. Oh my God, Mike.
So there was just a brief freeze. Another thing that people seem to think is that dogs have morals and know right from wrong and will feel guilty if they've done something naughty while we're out. So here's my dog Theodore, the founder of the Pibble Art Collective on Facebook, because he is so creative and he is not feeling guilty at all about eating this trash can. He thinks that moving things around and making art and doing scrimshaw is a lot of fun. Looks guilty here though, doesn't he? He's worried because the cat's beside him. He's not, I don't think he's ever felt guilty about anything. So if you look at Julie Hecht's study that she did in 2009, she left the dog and the owner in a room and told them to tell the dog not to eat a treat that they left behind, and then the owner left. And sometimes the dog would be fed the treat, sometimes the experimenter would just take the treat, and when the owner came back and saw that the treat was gone, they would reprimand the dog, and they would get this guilty look, and they would think the dog was feeling guilty that they ate the treat, even if the experimenter took it, or the experimenter handed it to them. Because they're responding to our body language, to our scolding. This is a look of fear, of concern, of worry. Some of them rolled over, showed all kinds of behavior in response to the scolding. But it's definitely not because they're feeling guilty. So let's let's absolve our clients of this notion. I just threw this one in for fun. This is something that's often misunderstood. It's not in the top 5, but it is something that we often need to translate. I just love when dogs do submissive grins. I had one Doberman who would do it, and there she is on the left doing a submissive grin. On the right is that picture of her threatening the puppy, and you can see the eyes are softer and squintier. If you saw her in movement, the one on the right is stiff and frozen. The one on the left is dancing and wiggling. So look at where the dog is on the loose versus stiff spectrum and decide if it's a submissive grin or a threat. So here's your final quiz for this project. I'm going to show you a little video of some dogs doing a little interaction with the environment. And I want you to think of 3 things that you'd like to explain to a client. And I don't want you to just look at the more fearful, worried ones. I want you to look at the friendly affiliative signals as well, because these are things to explain to people as well.
Hi, boys. Are you ready? Okay, go.
It really doesn't take much video to see a whole lot of behavior.
Hi, boys.
So for your homework, I would like you to talk to me about the little video I showed you. Look at those 3 things. And then I'd like you, if you choose to accept this mission, to go out and video between 60 and 90 seconds of dogs doing things. So interacting with dogs, interacting with humans, interacting with their environment. If you put it in slow-mo, make sure it's not more than 90 seconds total, because 90 seconds of slow-mo is going to be like 7 minutes. I don't want you to deliberately stress any dogs out. I don't want you to take your scared dog to the dog park just to get some interesting video. You can go to any random dog park and see lots of behavior. You can walk through the shelter, look in their play yards, look at the dogs in their kennels. You can video your own dogs, friends' dogs. But what I'd like you to do is try to explain in objective terms what's going on. So rather than saying, these dogs are happy, they're playing nicely, I want you to pick out some of the things we've talked about. And you can either talk over the video and explain what's going on, or you can send it in as written homework and say at the 12-second mark, the dog does a play bow. At the 13-second mark, there's a lip lick and a head turn. Either way is fine, but I'd like to get some actual video of dogs doing things that we've talked about. And if the dogs do things that we haven't talked about, feel free to ask me questions. And I will leave you there. Thank you for attending.